All right, guys, we're back for some Black Myth Wukong boss fight tips. This was Yellowbrow, and he, by far, is my least favorite boss fight because there are some mechanics in this that just are not fun. Yellowbrow has 3 different forms you'll have to fight through. The first form you'll fight through, which is mostly electric-based attacks. There'll be long pauses in between, so there's not too much I can give you here for tips other than using your Pluck of Many, use your immobilization, use them in succession. So use the Pluck of Many and then use your immobilization to basically wither down this boss. In this particular fight, you're going to want to stay pretty close to him to damage him. And then the next, you'll actually go into his purse and you'll fight the monkey that you previously encountered at the very beginning of this chapter. For this one, much like the same in the first form for Yellowbrow, you'll want to use your Pluck of Many. You're going to want to use your immobilization and just DPS him as quickly as you can. When he goes into his attacks, make sure you're dodging because I believe he goes into 3 different successions on his attack. But the best thing that I can tell you is to use your Pluck of Many because that's going to give you a little bit of time in between him, jumping at you and trying to swing his sword at you in multiple spots. I use the thrust stance on this one because there is times where he kind of just looks at you for a moment that you can really get in a really good thrust and get a little bit of DPS damage on him and take him down a little quicker on the health meter. The good news is if you're in this second phase and you die, you actually get to start right back in the purse. So don't worry, guys. If you do die, you're not going to end up having to go all the way back and fight the first phase again. It's the same with the third phase as well. So the patterns you have to watch on the third phase is when the Buddha turns into this golden state. And this is where I switch to the pillar stance. I tried the thrust stance and it was okay, but I found the pillar stance to work the best against this third phase of the boss fight. But basically you have to hit him at least once to stagger him to get him in this DPS mode that you're seeing now on the screen. What I recommend is once you've hit him and staggered him once, run away. Get as far away as possible. Take off your lock on the boss or you'll die like I just did right here because you can't get away. But hit him, stun him, run away, let him go through his crazy phase of just swinging his mace everywhere. And then he'll start to kind of trash talk you. And that's your cue to come back in closer. And this is where I use the pillar stance because I can still stay far enough away that if he starts to DPS, I can get away. But you use that pillar stance and hit him again. You have to hit him multiple times to take him out of the gold state. But once you take him out of the gold state, you'll stagger him and be able to DPS him again. It's basically rinse and repeat right here when you want to get him out of the gold state. Another reason we want to keep your distance from him is because he does have this slam that he'll do with his mace that creates this huge crater on the ground. And yes, if you walk over it, it will damage you. But the best way to avoid this is actually create distance. So the next thing that he does is he will create this circle of electricity around you where you can't escape other than trying to jump over it like you see me do right here. Now that's one way you can do it. Depending on how close he is to you, if he's close, I would jump out of the circle and get away because he's going to go crazy with his DPS moves like you see him now, swinging and flailing his mace. If you're stuck in the circle and he's farther away, then you can just use your deflection with your left trigger. You can deflect those little objects that come in and you don't have to move and you can sit and wait until it actually disappears to continue your attack again. His other way of attacking is to use this area DPS with an electrical storm. This is why I say you want to stay clear of him and stay far away as possible. Just jump in and out, kind of like guerrilla warfare. You're just jumping in and out when he's in that gold state, getting in a hit to get him out of that phase. Then you can get into a DPS phase with him again when he's just with his regular skin. What I do to DPS him the most is I will go up, use my light attacks. There is a little bitty window that if you can stun him, you can immobilize him. It doesn't always work, but that's what I did. And then, of course, use your shadow step or your shadow to get behind him and cause him to get staggered again. There is a phase like you're seeing right now that you cannot avoid. There's 3 of these phases where he's going to damage you. So the biggest thing that I'm going to recommend is to try to save your mana, save your health until you get through at least one of these phases where he's going to automatically hurt you. It's dumb. I know, I hate it too. It kind of makes the fight a little rougher because you have to really be careful with the way you're fighting. This is why I recommend, again, keeping your distance so that he can't just get in, use his mace and go crazy on you with his combos. But there's this little window that you can get, like this phase right here. You can get him one hit to get him out of that yellow state. And then the rest of the time it's hit and go, hit and go, hit and go. Keep your distance so that he doesn't hit you with any of his damage. That's the best tips that I can give you on this boss fight, guys. If you have any tips, please leave them down in the comments down below for anybody else that's struggling with this boss. It took me a long time to beat him. But these are my tips. I'm also going to put up the gameplay when I finally beat him so you can see what I did and kind of how it worked. I hope this helps you guys. Appreciate y'all. Remember, when in doubt, blow it up, baby.
This evening, sight and sound together. Outline. Thou shalt revere, or thou wilt never see cheer. Behold my Mahavira hall. How can Mount Linsa match its magnificence? Walk the path of Buddha, but within, not without. Flesh and bones are but a decaying in the land of this, there is only abyss, and your abyss is me. I shall meet you in combat, devoid of law, to see who prevails. To perceive me through sight and sound together, how wide? Only because I saw some... What is best about my seeds is how it utterly remakes all food and... From across the land, they all bow and hail me. Who are you to depart?
Make sure to like and subscribe, or we will execute Order 66. Check out our other videos on the screen as well.
Yes, my lord.